Hi, my name is Kimberly Boer, and gun control debate is huge. One thing that both can agree on is that maybe we do need to stricter laws, but not stricter laws as far as making more laws. We just need to enforce the ones that maybe we already have. They're not being enforced properly, then they're not going to do any good, and that's going to look like we need more laws, which they're going to continue to implement and take away our rights. Who says that we have the right to bear arms? Well, our Constitution does. Our Second Amendment of the Constitution of the Bill of Rights says that we have the right to bear arms. And the framers really didn't put much thought into this when they drafted the Constitution over 200 years ago. It's just something that was a part of what they had always known to do. I mean, they use guns to defend themselves. They use guns to defend their families. They use guns as a way of feeding their family. It was just something that was a cultural thing that they had been taught to do by their mother and fathers and by their mother and father, by generations. So when they drafted it, they really didn't put much thought into what it actually meant as we do today, which a lot of the anti-gun advocates are testing the waters and saying, what does the Second Amendment really mean? Who's the militia? Well, the militia is us. Uh, we are the people that the militia refers to. We have to have the right to protect ourselves against um, bad guys or just possibly like a government trying to take over. It's our right to defend ourselves. I mean, what if we did get our guns taken away and restricted? How are we supposed to defend our family when that burglar comes in at 3 a.m. and wakes you up? What are you going to use like to defend yourself? Um, we have to look at it that way. If we have nothing, then you're gonna say, well, what about the bad guys? How did they get the guns? Well, they're always gonna have guns. I mean, they're a felony cannot possess a gun anyways. So if a felon has a gun, which is most likely going to be your robber, then he already is breaking the law by possessing a firearm, which is not which they have that right taken away when they have the felon attached to their name. So they're already breaking the laws. They're already getting these firearms illegally. So it just leaves the law-abiding citizens defenseless to these lawbreakers. And then we also have to look at history repeating itself, which George Santayana says that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And one of the reasons that we study the past is to not make future mistakes and for the future. And if we go back and we look at the past, there has been numerous accounts where so many countries have had a government move in and they had it all planned. Like they make them register their guns, which most people would be like, well, it's not really a big deal. We can still have our firearms. Yeah, well, you can, but what happened in their case is that because that they were made to register their guns, the government knew exactly who owned guns. So when it came time for them to take over, they knew, of course, they had no chance unless that they took their weapons away from the citizens so that they couldn't fight back and they become helpless. So they sent the government officials out to collect all these guns that were on the registry. And because they registered their firearms, they knew exactly where they were. And they take their guns. So that's violating your Fourth Amendment as a search and seizure. They just come in and take them. So that leaves you fighting with a shovel and a rake against a government that has military and tons of ammunition and weapons, and you're left defenseless. So and then they do whatever they want. They just like at Hitler's case, they put them in concentration camps, or they sent them off, or they killed them. I mean, there have been so many people that have been killed because of it, because they've had no way to defend themselves. So our right to bear arms doesn't need to be taken away. We live in America because it's the land of the free, and many people would die to get into America. So if we don't want our Second Amendment rights taken, and then it trickling down to our Fourth Amendment right being violated, we need to restrict any kind of type of policy that reflects getting our gun, anything that has to do with further taking our gun rights away. Um, so if you feel that freedom is an important part of your life, or and for your future family, then be pro gun and want to keep your guns, and don't let them take your freedom. Thank you.